If you know nothing about website investing and website flipping, this video is for you, because today I'm hosting someone coming with fresh eyes on a listing. He's into building products, but not buying them. So I'm going through with them and showing him what are the pitfalls and what are things to look at, while he's pointing out the things that he sees. Hi, I'm Shlomo. I'm helping people buying their first digital assets. Let's jump in. So Harold is the founder of NoCodeX AI Bootcamp, and they're running no-code bootcamps pretty successfully. We know each other from no-code sale that I bought one of the projects on that sale, which was super interesting. No-code one. No-code, it was nocodehub.com. And I'm very happy to host him here. Now, Harold was kind enough to join, and he told me, I don't know enough about buying websites. I'm not sure I'm the right person to come here. And I told him, that's okay. We're going to do something different today. And this is letting someone with fresh eyes, starting looking at these kind of listings and kind of understand how you approach this thing. So we're going to think out loud about a listing that we chose ahead. He chose actually. And then I'll guide him through the process. Are you okay with that, Harold?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, Shlomo. It's great to see you again, to catch up before we started this. We haven't seen each other in a while, but it was a lot of fun whenever you joined our no-code events, our SIL events, where we met. It's more than a year that we know each other now, and it's great that you still going on with this. And yeah, happy to look at this listing together with you.
Okay, thank you for joining. Let me share my screen and we'll reveal the deal.
That's a great.
Okay, so we have on Micron's IO, that's a marketplace for buying businesses, different kinds. And we chose this listing, which is a Growth Case Studios newsletter. Harold, I'll just let you go with what you're seeing and what you're wondering about. And again, as I said, I'll jump in when I am can answer questions, or you asking questions. We'll do it this way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you sent me a few options to choose from, and I chose this one for several reasons. First of all, because I really love to read newsletters where they basically in reversion look at how some makers or people build a business, or how they grow a newsletter or grow a SaaS or whatever. And that's what I immediately found interesting about this.
That's my interest.
Shared. Yeah, personal interest, definitely. Also because this one was on Migrants who bought no-code sale from me. So that was a plus here as well. But yeah, from the options, this has my personal interest, and I think a lot of people are interested in this. It's about how to earn money, because if you grow something, you can earn money. And from all the products I'm following, from the makes I'm following, it's like a pattern that I see, that things that help people earn money do well, it seems. So that's why I chose this. It was really interesting for me. And from the first stats what I saw here, or we can go through it, I think, together, it seems a very successful one so far. So yeah, could be interesting.
Okay. So when you are starting and opening this kind of listing, what, except of course with the topic itself, what grabs your eye? What do you think you need to do in order to start evaluating if this business is viable, of course, so you can grow it and make more money, and also a good fit for you? You talked about interest, that's right, but there are more things maybe that you'll consider.
Yeah, the first things are, of course, for personal interest. When you browse listings, you scan the titles, so that's definitely one thing that attracted me. Then there's this mock-up. I think could be a little bit more attractive, but it works. And then the next thing is you look at, I'm a Dutch, and they didn't invent going nuts for a reason. It's, of course, we are a little bit on our money. So the next thing I immediately look at is the asking price, which for me is quite high. But then when you see the asking price, you compare this with the metrics, the top stats on the right side, ARR, or the annual
recurring revenue.
So you could say that if you run this and keep it at the same level, you will earn back the asking price within 4 years, because the annual recurring revenue will come back every year. We didn't look at the cost there, but you get
exactly. That's a good point of what you're saying about the cost. It could be that this business makes no extra money. It doesn't, but I mean, we're thinking about that. We're talking about revenue and not profit.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just a really short calculation, because you have to take into account the cost, obviously, but this gives like an indication how long it would take to earn it back. They have a good base already, the customers, so that's our subscribers of the newsletter in this situation. From what I follow on X, on Twitter, the newsletter business is really interesting and booming, with all those platforms like Beehive and ConvertKit adding all kind of extra monetization features, things like ad platforms, opportunities there. So I think this 30K base is really an interesting starting point, but I'm not sure how to judge the asking price yet. So I'm also really curious about your expertise there at Slow-Mo. Yeah, that's where I start looking at.
Okay. Looking down at the rest of the listing, and I already opened here the landing page, and also something that we didn't speak about before, which is the keyword research and kind of understand how strong and well built the website is. So I'll have a few more comments on that at the end there. Pretty surprising, must say. But before that, let's just focus first only on the listing and what the seller is saying. What seems reasonable for you? What is like, nah, it's just fluff and not really something that makes me want to read this and want to buy this business. What do you think?
Yeah, well, at first I look at the numbers, and then I was immediately curious at the platform they are using. So you see Beehive. I'm a fan of Beehive. We use this on the days of no code at the company I'm working for, the no code and AI bootcamp as well. It works well, and they are really adding all kind of new features, especially interesting features to monetize your newsletter in a rapid pace. So yeah, that's one plus for me. So that was one thing I was looking at. And I'm always curious. I didn't really check this for now, but I'm always curious who built it. Especially if you already have seen this person or something.
I see a lot of listing. I don't know that person.
No, it didn't ring a bell for me immediately as well. So yeah, that's then one note on the negative side. But perhaps if we do a lookup, he might be on a great journey. I'm not sure. We haven't seen him on X. Could mean that he isn't really building it in public, or maybe just on other channels than I am in another bubble. It could be. That's always something I would be interested in, to see who built it, what's the credibility of this person, and also what feeling does it give me. Some people you just love to follow, right? And you would love to buy something from them, or so that's something I would zoom in normally as well.
What do you think about this? Did this catch your eye? Does that matter in any way to you? The 30 days post-sale support included?
Now, for the newsletter business, not really. I think it's quite straightforward, and those platforms have a lot of support as well. But yeah, if I would buy like a SaaS thing that was built with a tool I'm not really skilled in, for example, then I would definitely pay attention to this, and would love to have like a backup, someone who knows how it's built to help me when that's needed.
So 30 days are enough or not?
For this,
with a newsletter, I understand it's fine.
Yeah, for the newsletter, it's fine. For when buying a SaaS, I'm not sure if I would go for 30 days. Maybe I would negotiate for a little bit longer. just to be sure that you have like this paid up. It also depends which tools are used to build it. Or
this line, 30 days post-sale support included, is a pretty standard. You see this in every Micron's listing. Nothing special there. I'd say it's almost saying nothing about this. It's basically
a default.
It's a default. You probably need to get more details on what's included. Yes, you're right. In the newsletter business, it might not be the most necessary. Although with this size, I would, hold whatever I can. This size of deal to make sure that, I get everything right. And you always find things you haven't thought about when you're buying a business. But with SaaS and others, I wouldn't do more than 30 days and would ask for maybe Zoom calls and things like that, and not just regular phrase saying post-sale support included. That's it. That's not enough. That's really not enough.
No, definitely when making agreements for like higher prices, I would definitely on paper make those agreements. So what can we expect for both parties? So not only for me as the buyer, but also for the seller to make clear, to set expectations and make clear what we agreed on. So we can't get any disputes about this. And just, we are both hoping to make the sale then. So, and both hoping to make that the platform will thrive afterwards. So the seller can later tell, yeah, that was mine. I built this. And also the buyer can tell like, hey, I got this great new business. So I'm all for clarity, definitely. Yeah.
Right. That's really important when you do that. So you have a win-win from both sides. Nobody feels that they're losing. Okay, let me just go quickly through the overview. So he's saying that the 55,000 annual revenue and 30,000 subscribers. Target audience are product managers. Start this newsletter because I'm a product manager. Love reading case studies, just like you, Harold. He started this just 8 months ago, and folks started loving it. That's a good sign here. And here are, again, the metrics. We spoke about them. We spoke about Beehive. And built with Beehive business model, advertising, and recommendations. We'll get to the recommendations in a bit.
One question I have though is if you look at the stats on the right side, it says ARR.
Right.
So that implies a recurring revenue, annual recurring revenue. But if you look at the green check marks, the stats in the description, it says annual revenue. And that would be something I would be wondering, is it recurring or not? Because if it's recurring, and for example, if you have like those sponsorships for like the longer term with implicit recurring terms, that would be great. But if it's just annual revenue, meaning just ads with one-time payments and stuff, that's a total different situation.
That's a great point. So actually, I think, looking at the stats, it's not ARR. ARR here is the default with Microns, and it's built more for SaaS, not for newsletters. The revenue comes from, yes, it is coming every month, but it's different every month, and it's coming from, not the same amount every time. It's not kind of subscribers. He doesn't state here that he has paid subscribers on his newsletter. Then that would be relevant to say it's recurring revenue, and probably not the whole 55,000, probably just some of that. If we scroll down, and we'll get to all those, but if we scroll down all the way here at the bottom are the revenue metrics. So what you can see here are the total revenue from Boost. Boost is the, network of newsletters where in your newsletter you can recommend others, and then you get payment for that. So this is what they made, 3,150-ish total revenue in the last, this is just the last month, last 4 weeks. I see here, last 4 weeks. So this is actually most of the revenue, if you think about that. If we're going for, let's get to the calculations here. So if this is 55,000 divided by 12 would be the monthly revenue. Again, it's all average, right?
Yeah.
And we're almost 4,600 here. 3,000 of that, 3,200 is just from recommending other newsletters, while the rest, according to what they say, is their recommendations over here. The advertisement recommendations is boosts.
Yeah, boost is the recommendation part.
Yeah,
the advertisements are not added there in the graph, right? So
you clearly see that.
Could be that he just arranged this on his own, reaching out to people. I would be curious how he got to this 55K.
Sponsorships. Oh yeah, because it runs for a while. But again, Microns doesn't give you P&L sheet, and here he didn't add, more data for what happened at the last. I don't know. This thing is only running for 8 months. We don't know if he took the last 3 months and then multiply it by 12, the average of 3 months, and then multiply by 12, then there says 55,000. 55,000.
Yeah, so when I really want to go with this, I definitely would like to talk with the founder to learn more about this. And that's why I also love some social profiles. For example, on X on Twitter, you can use this advanced search to see which tweets of him would do really well. Maybe something happened which went viral, which could lead to a big.
Have you researched this? Did you see his name? I wonder.
Yeah, I showed his name there. But that's something I would do. Do your own due diligence. Something I would look into. And also, when reaching out to him, I would love to know, how did you get to this 55 revenue? How did you get the advertisements?
You got me intrigued. I'm going on X now. Just quick search. See what happens.
Can imagine there are more people.
Yeah, no. Checker, Chelsea runner. Yeah, you can't really know. You need more research to find who the guy is. Okay, well, skip that part.
Definitely recommended to do this research. But yeah, the growth opportunity, especially when you already have a following, maybe you are a maker and have a lot of people following you and love your built-in public things, then yeah,
Are you okay with that, with what he's saying? Can use paid marketing for further scale the newsletter.
It sounds like a tactic that you can use. I'm not sure whether that's a good tactic. I'm not that experienced with growing newsletters.
So if you read between the lines, he's already doing that. He's kind of convincing you for something he's already doing. Look at this, expenses, 1,000 for paid ads.
Yeah, would be curious how it converts. Yeah, that's our question. That's our answer to the question. We asked at the beginning, we know the revenue, but we didn't know the cost. But I think that's foreseeable, right? 250 liter, not a lot of cost involved, but it involves the newsletter.
Yeah, it's about 25%. That's a margin of 75. So 4,500 minus 1,000. Minus 350. That's roughly what you'll make monthly. And this month specifically, you made more, right? Oh, actually, it's almost the same number, you see?
Yeah.
About that. So 3,233. This is 3,158. So let's talk a little bit about the price that he's asking for. What do you think? If this makes sense, if it's reasonable?
The thing I want to say with the expenses is that you have to take into account the time this will take, because the newsletter business, I working closely together with Kat Reiser from No Code Exit, know what all the stuff she's doing to grow her newsletter. It's a lot. So you have to repurpose your content on all kind of different channels, engage, etc. So that's something to take into account as well. If you want to do this good, then it's not just writing a newsletter, it's a lot of other content as well. You need to have time for it, or capacity, or just able to pay other people to write for you or to create.
He's paying a writer 250 already.
Yeah, I see.
250 a month.
But that's definitely something to take into account if you want to run it by yourself. Do you have the time, the energy, capacity to do all the repurposing as well? It's not just newsletter. It's a whole game around it as well.
So do you think that 5x on profit is okay? So you'll make your money back in 5 years. That's basically what it means.
Yeah, and that would be if it stays the same, right? So for me, I would only buy this if I believe I can grow it, and not buy this with the if I stay it, I will
Let's
get
leave
my
it.
money back in 5 years. So if you believe that you can grow the newsletter because you, for example, you already have a lot of following, of you know how to repurpose content really well to grow via other channels, then it could be really interesting because it already has a nice base.
It's likely will grow because if you keep spending this 1,000 paid ads, and I assume it's the same, it's for promoting the newsletter on other newsletters or same kind of boosts, but on the other side, the equation, meaning that other people are promoting this newsletter and then you pay them, to the network. That will grow beyond the 30,000. Hence, it will grow. He didn't put any growth graphs here, so we don't know exactly. But if you're looking at 200,000 divided by, let's say that 3,200 roughly of net revenue that we're talking about the 62 here, monthly, which is 5.2 years to get your investment back. It's likely less because, again, if you keep spending this, it's a growth engine that will grow. But of course, things change in market. You will still have to work for that. It's not going to be passive income, but
that's something to take into account. But I do think it's an interesting one because it's about growth, making money, and people are interested in how and how can I make money, how can I grow. So those studies probably are get interest from people to read. So I can see how you grow that, and if you grow with the newsletter market booming and all those platforms like Beehive adding all kind of extra monetization features, I think it's definitely an interesting business. We would dive a little bit deeper and get in touch with the founder to learn more about how did he grow so far and etc. If you're game for the newsletter, for a real newsletter business, it's worth reaching out to Engwet.
What do you think about the traffic metrics? That's their Beehive stats. Oh, there are dates, February 14th, 15th, 18th. So pretty recent. Yeah. So it's 28,000, not 30,000. Just to be exact on what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, it's a few weeks later already. So maybe it's 30K now. But you can see it's slowly growing. All right. The numbers, I'm not a newsletter expert, so I can't really benchmark these numbers, but I would say open rate and click rate seems okay for me. Can't really compare. We with the 100 days challenges, we also send emails, but they are challenges, so people are actually engaging with it. So
right, it's higher open rates.
Higher and higher click rates, way higher.
Because Beehive platform, do you know what are these icons of people? I don't know. Are these just a writer?
Oh no,
I wonder if you're
not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't really benchmark it, but if you're interested in a newsletter business and want to acquire this, of course, do some benchmarking. Look up the numbers. What's your experience with this, Slow-Mo?
So I can benchmark my newsletter remote revenues, and I have around 45-ish, sometimes even 50% open rate, but my click rate is lower. Sometimes it's around this, but most of the time it's lower, probably around 1 point something. For this size of newsletter, I'd say it's decent. For the open rate, for growth, I would probably branch out for courses and affiliate marketing, relevant things for product managers, and not only stay with the recommendations and with the sponsorships. The sponsorships usually are active work, while you can do that with affiliate marketing and and then sometimes at some point develop your own products and then sell that to that list of product managers. Also, in my mind, and I haven't made the research, but usually these are tech companies. Product managers in tech companies usually make good income. So that means that they'll be able to spend more on their education and tools or whatever they need for their management for their product. And also the company might pay for that. So that's also another reason to maybe sell more, do more affiliate marketing and partnerships with other companies with this newsletter.
Yeah. And if you done enough of those growth studies, so you spend a lot of time writing them, do your research to write them, etc., then at a certain point you probably got these skills or these ideas to create like a course of your own, or to distill everything you discovered into something that you can sell as an info product. So that would be interesting as well. Or you can just use this as a lead magnet to grow the newsletter. So there are definitely more opportunities than just ads to grow this.
So you want to look at the listing before I go to the website and the keywords?
No. The things we discussed, that would be interesting to learn more. But it seems definitely an interesting starting point for me. But from my experience, I can't really judge those numbers here. So that's not on me to say something about it.
You know what, before we do this, I want to say something about financing, because you said, oh, this is too expensive for me. So first of all, you can always negotiate the price. But one way to make it more reachable when you are buying such a business is do something called seller financing. So you tell the seller, listen, I am paying you, let's say, $100,000. Well, I don't calculate. It's 100,000. The rest of the 1,000 are paid from the profits for 2 years. This means that some of the risk goes on the seller, because if the business crashes, he doesn't get that payment. On the other hand, he gets the asking price that you want. And sometimes you even will say, I'm willing to pay more because you're giving me seller financing, because you spent at the beginning only 100,000 or whatever you agreed on or able to pay. So this is a way to finance a business without spending the whole money of what the acquiring requested price is.
Yeah, interesting. But I guess not. Should you do this with someone you don't know at all, or I personally wouldn't do this with someone. It's both as a seller and as a buyer with someone I don't know.
Some platforms giving you escrow and different ways to do that. Yeah, you need to put that in good agreements. It's something that, of course, need to be clear. What's the obligations of each sides? But sometimes business is art and not so much only about the rules and trust as well.
Exactly. Like you say, at some point you do, of course, and you don't close this deal before you have like some talks with each other. So that's something you can judge whether to do that or not. It will be interesting when those platforms like Beehive are going to facilitate sales of newsletters, transfers. Maybe in the future, I'm not sure, but just thinking out loud, and you can just agree like from those money coming in on a boost in the next year until this cap, this percentage has to go to.
Yeah.
Like you can collaborate on Gumroad now and split profits among creators. Maybe that's a way.
You're becoming Beehive's product manager, right?
So that could be interesting, or maybe Acquire or something, or Microns. Maybe Ilya, if you're listening to this, maybe you can implement this. But just fantasizing there. The seller pricing sounds interesting.
Let's look at the page. So we have this. We saw that in the screenshot. You have the featured posts over here. Okay, I see the last one here on February 1st. I guess he just didn't do he chose his best post or something like that. Oh, here, 8 hours ago, February 20th. He's very consistent with publishing, definitely. So that's the Beehive's layout, classic layout for newsletters. So nothing really special here. Let's see what's over here. If there's something interesting. No newsletter login, nothing. Okay, that's basically it. I want to show you something with the keyword research and what I found for productmonk.io. That's the URL of this newsletter. So this is Ahrefs. It's a platform for researching domains and websites. Let's go for the overview first. And you find something very interesting. First of all, the DR, which is the domain rank, it's a number between 0 and 100 of how strong a domain is 53. So we're talking about a medium, even high
I think that's really
DR
well.
here, doing really well. However, you have 98 keywords at the top 3. You see this nice, something happened here, and ask the seller what happened on January 24th. That suddenly you have another, how many? 60, almost 60 referring domains.
Yeah.
If this is something fishy here, that's might be a problem.
Oh, yeah. One moment. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Just got a quick check with my, I think the fire alarm checked here in my office.
Okay.
But it's all good.
You need to go? Fire?
Now just a quick check. It was announced, but yeah. All right. Yes, that's a big.
Look at this organic keyword growth. That's what I wanted to show. Yeah. So this is they started in September. This is when it started to rank. Now look at this growth. Nice keyword growth here. Only in very low position. So 51, you see that over here. And very low for the others. But still, I mean, the fact that it's ranked, it's really nice. And then if you go and look at the keyword themselves.
Yeah, and I would brandable name as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the name.
I haven't researched. This one is for United States. Most of the traffic comes from India. This I saw just before the call. You probably want to focus more on this, on developed countries' traffic, because they're also able to pay more maybe for subscriptions, things like that. A little bit of random keywords, I'd say, given when acceptance criteria, per BN, I don't know what's that. But this one is interesting. Figma revenue, somebody wants information and goes there. So they're not yelled. There's still some SEO work to do here, rank those in page number 1. But it's a good start. Okay, you saw the growth. It's definitely on its growth stage. I'd say with the growth of paid ads and more keywords, you probably will make your money back if you're paying the 200,000 less than 5 years if everything continues as now. Revolut Player, you see all those. I don't know what's BRB and why it's ranked so well for that. An Academy Games Minecraft, and they spoke about Minecraft, why the world is hooked. Okay, so interesting stories there. Lots of keywords. They're not really very intended to see that. So I wouldn't imagine people would stay so much on the newsletter, but hopefully you hook them enough to say, oh, let me just sign up for the newsletter. That's the bottom line of what you want, basically.
Yeah. Probably you read a lot of them first as well before you reach out. But yeah, interesting that the domain is doing really well too, it seems. And that spike, that quick rise in that graph is really interesting. Would love to know why, how that happened.
Let's look at backlinks. See what's over there, because there are some backlinks, and remember there were 60 of them in one day. Marketing Monk, but this is just the R8. LibReddit. I don't know what these are.
You probably were doing a whole series about this Ahrefs stats separately.
Yes, I can just dive in on that.
Yeah, that's
of course.
Interesting information.
Okay. Any last thoughts? What do you have?
I think there are a lot of aspects that are interesting and are in the newsletter business. They probably have a better view of how this is performing, but I think it has like a brandable name, good base, followers base, already subscriber base. So it has potential, especially since like this newsletter market is again growing, and with all the monetization features added on those platforms. I would be interested, especially if I would have like this newsletter baggage skills already, and just knew the ways to grow it. And I think it's about money, so people are interested. So there's opportunity to grow it. So that's what I can say, and then the experts can take it from there. Would be curious to know. So let me know if someone lets you know if they buy it or if you see that it's bought. So
Sure, for sure. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for a company that has a product for product managers. They would get very nice, lots of new clients over there. So this is a good example of how a company can grow by buying another digital asset into and merge them with their asset, and this is how they can grow their company.
Yeah, it is what you always read as well, right? So you can use ads from others, but have to prevent it doesn't get spammy. But the best way to make money is if you can sell your own products in your newsletter, so it organically leads to your own product for part of your subscribers.
Exactly.
Really interesting. Well, I hope this was helpful, Shlomo.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. That was super interesting, kind of seeing, fresh eyes on looking at listings and hearing your thoughts. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks for the invitation. It was a pleasure to talk with you again. Really, really good. Looking forward. And maybe you buy this after this. After this.
I need to negotiate the price there, but you're right. Yeah, why not? Thank you.
Thanks.
Helping for you, for the total beginners out there. Please put your comments and questions down below, like and subscribe. And also we have more deals coming here and here, so you can jump to the next one and learn more. See you on the next one. Cheers.